Hi, I'm Robin and welcome to Well-Conceived Business. We help online business owners within health and wellness to create a business and life that is not only well paid, but well lived. Here you'll find honest and refreshing conversations about what it takes to create a business around your life, what healthy hustle looks like, as well as insights and tips on growing your audience, your signature program, your profit, and your peace. Ready? Let's go. Hi, and welcome to Well-Conceived Business this week. I cannot wait to dive into today's episode. And this is something that, I don't talk about too often because what I really love talking about and promoting for people is helping people build signature online courses that can lead to more passive income. So if you feel like you are drowning in all of the things that you need to be doing, should be doing in your business, maybe you can't work full time in your business, and it just feels like there's so many things that need to get done and there's not enough hours in the day, then there may be a bit of a disconnect between your capacity and your revenue. And so therefore, that may mean that you need to create some form of online course, signature program, and take away some of the one-to-one that you have. If you feel like there is not enough time in the day, particularly to work part-time, your revenue is actually going to tap out at a fairly low price if you are doing all the things that you also should be doing, accounting, marketing, etc. But lots of the folks that I work with either love one-to-one and are committed to it, work full-time and, really want to power through with one-to-one, or they're just starting out in their business and before they launch an online course, want to get some revenue through the door with one-to-ones. So a lot of what I have worked on with my one-to-one clients, with our mastermind clients, is how to create a strategy around both marketing and sales that gives you consistent discovery calls that then leads to consistent clients in your calendar and taking away a lot of the heavy lifting of recruitment through, we end up using a lot of the time things like Facebook advertising. And I love my Facebook advertising structure. So what we're going to talk about today, though, is how to get more discovery calls and some of the common things that we've worked on within the business that lead to more and better discovery calls. So I think I've got 7 things on the list here. So the first thing is, and you may be surprised at this, but talk about it. So talk about things like case studies, obviously with permission, on your Instagram. Talk about hypothetical things. Talk about what you're working on or what you've been working on and the types of people who come to you and work with you. So you might share, this is my schedule for today. And a lot of people do this, like, this is what I've got on today. And you might write one-to-one client, but can you give some context to that client? This is a client with endometriosis. This is a client with Lyme disease. This is a client when we're working on meal planning. So giving some common points of interest that might pique people's interest. Using storytelling, before and after storytelling, like, this is what we work on. This is the flow of what that looks like. So again, people can have some context and self-identify that this is for them. But if you never talk about it, and if you never share how to work with me, do you have a pinned post? Is this a link within your Instagram? Do you have an Instagram highlight? Do you regularly promote working with you one-to-one in your Instagram stories? If you don't do any of that, how do you expect people to just know that that's an opportunity for them, right? And if you never want to pitch yourself in emails, again, same thing. How is anyone ever going to know that that's available to them and that you have space available to them? So talk about it, send people a link, ask people, pitch yourself, and you do it in creative different ways, not just saying, hey, work with me. Hey, I've got a space available, using case studies, before and afters, giving context, when you're working with people, showing social proof like testimonials. All of those things are things that keep it interesting and help people self-identify that you might be the type of person that is an ideal fit for them. The next one is put together a proper sales page / work with me page. No, you cannot just write, hey, I do a single session for £150 and this is the kind of things that we talk about, there is a flow and a series of things that need to be included in things like work with me pages and sales pages, and things that help people convert and want to self-identify. And if you don't know what you should be putting on a work with me page, it is time to figure that out, whether that's joining a program like Launch Easy Life or applying to work with me one-to-one. You need to know how to put that together, because if you have just some really basic information and a very straightforward package of this is 1 hour, one session, you're actually going to really struggle, number one, to get people to work with you, but number two, to then get any kind of meaningful revenue and transformation from the programs and services that you provide. So putting together a proper work with me /sales page that ticks a lot of the boxes. There's also things that I would put into a work with me page for one-to-one services that I probably wouldn't put in, for example, an online course page. Things like how it works. So the biggest thing that I always think is there's a big difference between direct to consumer marketing, i.e. Sally, who's 40 years old and is a teacher, versus people who market to other businesses. And really do an audit of who you take your advice from, because a lot of people out there providing advice on things like sales pages and marketing have only ever worked with and marketed to other business owners. So direct to consumer people are not as savvy and well educated as people who work in business to business. They don't understand. So this is kind of my next point, is use clear language, because they don't often understand what a discovery call is. They don't understand that you might get on the call to ask some questions first. Really being clear and being like, would the average person actually understand exactly what happens and what the flow is? Do they understand that it might be online and not in person? I promise you, like, I've worked with enough and spoken to enough people that many people don't understand exactly what happens. So it's really important that you address that in your work with me page on either the FAQs, or you have like a little process graphic that shows people like, this is the steps of what's involved, like this is how it works, right? So that they know exactly what is happening, and using really clear language. Do they understand what a discovery call is? Maybe you can call it something different. Maybe you can call it a complimentary initial consultation to find out if this is the right thing for you, right? Being really clear and using clear language, not assuming that they understand all of the terms that we're talking about. You're in business, so you understand, and you've likely signed up to programs and products with other people who sell business to business things, but don't necessarily understand direct to consumer marketing and customer behavior. So really tuning into and making sure that it's clear at every single step of the process. If you're a health and wellness practitioner and you're growing your business, you know that Instagram is unrivaled in its ability to grow, connect, and convert your audience all on the one platform. But it's not just about going viral and reaching a bunch of people. It's about grabbing your Cloud9 clients' attention in a way that positions you as an authority and a service provider. Want to know exactly how to do that? I have a free PDF case study with 3 example posts that will give you an insight into 3 different types of posts you can create today to help you do just that. Check out our show notes or visit launcheasylife.com/social to get your hands on this free PDF copy today. So the next thing is experiment with including the price and demonstrating the value. So I think one of the podcasts and even on my Instagram at Launch Easy Life, things that I talk about is why I always include the price on everything that I do. And I do that because it gives me the opportunity, one reason why, to demonstrate the value and articulate the value on my work with me page rather than having to do it on a discovery call. I find it so much easier so that people can have time to review that. They can have time to properly assess it rather than on a call. So experiment with whether that's going to work with you. And a lot of what you will do in marketing is testing and tweaking what is going to work for you and what is going to work for your audience. And sometimes what you might find is maybe it results in less discovery calls, but more conversions. So not just looking at one metric, looking at your entire business as a whole, because what might be happening is you have less time wasters on the phone who are like instantly repelled the second that you say the cost, right? I'm telling you, I've had this before. People who are like, oh, I was expecting more like $20 per session. And you're like, well, that was never going to happen, right? So sometimes it results in less discovery calls, but more conversions and maybe shorter discovery calls because you don't have to go through so much objection handling and communication about what is included. They can clearly see that for themselves and also keep coming back to you. I mean, I don't know the number of times that I've looked at people's work with me pages again and again and again over, for example, a 6-month period, wanting to know all of the details. It gives them the opportunity to know and understand all of the information, to do their own market research, to go back and forth, to speak with their partners, to do all of that stuff before they get on a discovery call. So really understanding that in context and not making knee-jerk reactions as well. But experiment with it, right? Test it out. See how it feels for you. See how the discovery call ends up when you experiment with including the price and demonstrating the value on that sales page itself. The next and second last thing in order to get more discovery calls is make the discovery call form easy to complete. Go back and have a look at this. Is your software for booking the call easy? If you're not using software, does that look like back and forth 12 times, right? Make it really easy to complete. They don't have to enter too much information. They don't have to do a giant deep dive form. Make it really easy and for them to complete so that it's a quick thing so that someone can do it. And having a look at that. How easy is it from a consumer perspective? Is there a lot of tech? Is there a lot of next? Are you going to ask me 12 million questions? It's going to take me 45 minutes to complete this form. Having a look at that, making it really easy for them to hit the go button and say, yes, I'm ready to book a call. And then the very last thing, and this is one of the most important things that I think, understanding that from a consumer perspective, so like again, circling back to, they might have gone back and forth over 6 months at your Work With Me page. And it takes a lot of effort and momentum for someone to say, I'm ready to change rather than stay stuck. I'm ready to prioritize this. I'm ready to invest my money. I'm ready to do this. So considering that it might be a really scary step for someone to take that next step with you and say, I'm going to make an appointment to book in with a stranger to something that I've potentially never done before, health coaching, life coaching, all of that stuff is still, I find, a relatively new concept. I'm going to admit that I need help. I'm going to take responsibility for my life. I'm going to pay money to be accountable. That all requires, like, never underestimate the majorness of that. So they enter their details and they hit the button and book a thing in the calendar, right? They've hit that button and then think of the way that our brains naturally work. I don't know if you've ever read the book or listened to the TED Talk by Mel Robbins about the 5-second rule, right? It's called How to Stop Screwing Yourself Over. And it talks about the way that our brains naturally, after 5 seconds, will start helping us self-sabotage. So for example, you set your alarm early in the morning. You're like, I'm going to work out. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. in the morning, do an early workout, get all of this stuff done. 5 o'clock rolls around, your alarm goes off. And then your brain's like, okay, do we wake up or don't we? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well, it's pretty toasty in my bed. I'm feeling really tired. Maybe I should just give myself the morning off. Oh, it's really cold outside. I'll be able to work out later in the afternoon. Your brain thinks of all the reasons why, after your alarm goes off, after 5 seconds, why this is not going to work for you. It's the same for your customers. They hit that button to book a call with you, and then instantly they will start thinking of all of the reasons why, or maybe it's okay and I don't need to do this, or maybe I can figure it out on my own again a little bit longer. Oh, maybe my husband won't approve of me spending the finances, whatever it is, right? All of the reasons why they're not going to do this and it's actually not right for them, and maybe they're not going to show up for the call. So Number one, what you want to do, or what I like to do, is maintain that momentum and reassure people that this is a safe thing. So, what would that look like? What would breaking down their defenses a little bit look like? And helping them really feel like, no, this is still the right thing. I'm going to show up to this call. That might look like sending them an email instantly that says, yay, I'm so excited to talk to you. Rest assured, this is very, very casual. With all that this is going to happen is this. You get to decide whether I'm the right fit for you. I get to decide whether I can really help you, and trust me, I'll give you the right decision. And then giving them reminders, giving them both SMS and email reminders, and adding some freaking personality into this, please, right? Not just a boring, like, this is when your appointment is. The more that you add personality and humor and relatability and connection into this, the more likely they are to show up to your call. But giving them things like a 24-hour and either a 15-minute or a 1-hour reminder that this is coming up, giving the link in every single email that you send. I cannot tell you the number of times I've hit a thank you page of booking something. So number one, always use an automated booking reminder. It's so hard to just do back and forths with people. But I've gone to the thank you page and it's like, thank you, you've booked your call. Here's the link, right? And then it says, click add to calendar, and I forget for whatever reason, then I never receive a reminder. So I don't know the link of where I'm supposed to be. I don't get the reminder, so I didn't put it in my calendar, and I'm like, shit, I can't remember what I put in. Go for the reminders, please. Always go for the reminders. Add personality, give them the links 100 times, make it really easy for them, and keep that momentum going. They've committed to change. Like, you are excited. Oh, I'm reassuring you that this is a great decision and here's how I'll help you, right? So we want them to show up for that call. We want them to feel like this is great. We want them to feel like they're getting to know us. So stepping into their shoes and feeling like, well, what would help them feel that way, and doing that. Then the other thing I like to do is have a short lead time. So you can absolutely do this in Calendly software. And what you can do in the Calendly software is schedule it so they can't book a discovery call more than a week out, for example. So they can't book it the same day, but they can't make it a week out. Don't create a billion times that they can book into your calendar, but consider that there might be, like a morning time and an afternoon time. So we don't want to look like our calendar is abundantly full. And if your calendar also looks abundantly full and you have just free reign over the calendar, what's going to happen is you're going to get stuck into work, marketing, accounting, whatever, then keep having to stop, do a discovery call, send a thank you email, whatever, and then go back and be like, this is hard. So making sure that there's a short lead time so that they don't have 2 or 3 weeks to sit and stew over it, right? Because remembering, it's really uncomfortable for human beings to make change and commit to change, accept responsibility, accept accountability, do all these things. So if they don't have too long to think about it, you're more likely to maintain that momentum with them and get them to show up for the call. So don't include a long lead time and don't have all of these times that you're available. Set like on Tuesday afternoons and Wednesday mornings, that's when I'm going to do discovery calls, and experiment with that. Having something that says if you can't find a time that's available, feel free to email me and then see what happens, but not having this whole free reign over your calendar. So those are my tips on how to get more discovery calls and people showing up for them. So let's just do a recap. Number one, talk about it, and talk about it in different ways on things like Instagram stories, using storytelling, using testimonials and case studies. Talk about it and invite people often in many different ways. Put together a proper work with me page. And if you don't know how to do that, get some help doing that. Use clear language and stop assuming that just because you understand terms that your ideal customer does as well. Use reminder SMSs and emails and add some personality into there so that you can be relatable. Experiment with including the price and demonstrating value and seeing whether that results in more conversions or not. Make it easy to complete. Let's not make people jump through hoops to talk to us. And then the very last one is make it a short lead time so that you can maintain that momentum with people. I hope this episode has been exciting. Let's talk next week about discovery call tips that nobody is talking about. And if you want to hear all about that, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you tune in again next week, because that's what the topic is for next week. I'll speak to you soon. Bye then. We are done with the meat and potatoes of this episode, but I am not letting you go just yet, my friend. Before you jump off, I have 3 quick things that I would love to share with you. Number 1 is thank you so much for listening today. If you'd like to hear more about growing your visibility through Instagram, podcasting, or Pinterest, creating or launching or growing your signature program, automations, or many more online business nuggets of gold, pause now, hit that subscribe button because we are here for you weekly. Number 2 is if you would like to learn more about working with us and joining our signature program, the Well-Conceived Mastermind, which is unlike any mastermind you've seen before, check out our show notes below and you will find all the links to join the waitlist or sign up and join the mastermind now. And number 3, lastly, if you do nothing else, make sure you come and find us on Instagram for daily behind the scenes and hugely savable and value-packed content. You will find us at Launch Easy Life. Well, that's it from me today. Now go out there and create your well-paid business and your well-lived life.